Hey, it's Wednesday! Time for another Action Figure Adventures video here on SEO Toy Review. Today, we're taking a look at a Power Ranger haul. I picked up all the Power Ranger figures featured in this video at Wacs Toys in Norristown, Pennsylvania. We'll start off with the Blue Ranger from Lost Galaxy. He's got a little bit of paint wear on his helmet there, but he's in pretty good shape, and I just don't really have many Lost Galaxy figures. And this is a nice figure. He has swivels at the shoulders, elbow articulation, wrist articulation, great hip joints, and knee joints. These are pretty decent Power Ranger figures. He even has a little holster here for holding his Quasar Saber. Not a bad figure. He also is a sound figure, but his batteries are worn out, it would seem. Next up, we're taking a look at some figures from Wild Force. Here's the Red Ranger. When you squeeze his legs together, he has this awesome action feature. And he also has a lever on his back that you can use to kind of lock his arm back into a normal position. He has a holster on his hip here for his weapon. He has rotations at the knee, but no actual knee joints, no hip joints. He has those shoulder joints that are part of his action feature. He has elbows, and he has wrist swivels, but they're actually at the end of his glove there at the elbow. And of course his head can turn. So it's a good looking figure. It's got sort of a fun action feature, but not really very good articulation. Next up, we've got the White Wild Force Ranger. She has a similar look to that Red Ranger. She does not have an action feature activated by squeezing her legs, but her arms are linked together as an action feature. She has articulation at the head, at the elbows, no glove articulation. Again, she does have hip joints here. They're a little odd. And nothing at the knee. She also has that holster for her weapon. It seems like maybe they use different articulation for the girls than the boys. Maybe just because of the mold. The slender body couldn't fit in the action feature the same way. I'm not sure. But that's pretty cool. And I also got the Yellow Ranger. And the Yellow Ranger from Wild Force is really awesome. She's an Air Force pilot. And she's really tough. She kind of was the leader of the team before the Red Ranger gets there. I'm noticing that she has a little hole in her hand here. I guess that's for part of her accessory. And again, her arms swing jointed together, but she does not share that hand with the White Ranger. She has those terrible hips again, and no articulation below that. She also has the holster. Decent looking figure on display, but a little funky when you play with them. SPD Emergency! Here we've got the Red Ranger from SPD. He has articulation at the head. He's got awesome shoulder joints that move around and out to the side. He's got elbow joints. He's got wrist articulation. This is a good Power Ranger figure. He also has hip joints that move out to the side and forward and backwards. Knee joints, a swivel at the knee. So this is an all-around nice figure. He's got a holster here for his blaster. Pretty cool. If you push his belt, he makes no noise, but he definitely was supposed to have a sound feature or a light feature. I'm not sure which. I can't tell if these sirens on the side of his head would have lit up, but he definitely had a sound or light feature activated by that belt originally. Next up, we've got Sky the Blue Ranger from SPD. He's got the same kind of articulation we had on the Red Ranger, with wrists and elbows, great shoulder joints. He has a different holster because the regular Rangers, the non-Red Rangers, had different weapons. He has that button as well. But nothing happened. So I'm not sure if his sirens were supposed to light up or if he made a sound. SPD Emergency! Next up, we've got the SPD Pink Ranger in SWAT mode. When the Rangers needed more firepower, they could call in SWAT mode and they get the extra armor and all this other stuff. So Sid here has working sound. She has similar articulation to the boys, but her shoulders are not able to swing out to the side. She does have elbows and wrist articulation, nice hip joints, knee joints, so she's still a pretty decent figure. Of course, I don't have weapons for any of these guys, but it's still cool to be able to, put a squad together and have them on the shelf. Of course, you saw this guy in the opening of the video. We've got Tommy Oliver, the Black Ranger from Dino Thunder. Brachio Power! He is a classic Ranger who's had multiple costumes throughout the series. The original Green Ranger. Articulation at the shoulders, elbows, nothing at the wrist. Head articulation. Hips. Good Power Ranger hips that can move up, forward, and backwards and out to the side. He's got knee joints. A swivel above the knee there. I did get his Brachio Saber accessory, and he has a holster for it on the side here. He has a button on his belt.
Rangers unite! Rangers unite!
Doesn't sound anything like Jason David Frank, but cool figure. And then we've got the Yellow Ranger from Dino Thunder. She has articulation at the head, shoulders, elbows, a swivel above the elbow, good Power Ranger hips, knee joints, and that swivel above the knee. She's pretty much the same as that Black Ranger we just looked at. The sculpting on this figure is a little bit odd. Just doesn't quite look very feminine, I guess. And she does not have a sound feature. Next up, we've got Evan from Dino Thunder, the Blue Ranger. He has similar articulation. He has elbows and shoulder joints, head joint, great hips. He's got knee joints and a swivel above the knee. He's got his holster here. He has a sound feature.
Dino power! Dino power!
Great voice acting there. He also came with one accessory here. He came with these shoulder pads that plug into his back. This is for doing the Super Dino mode, I guess. I don't know if he had other pieces that made the other spikes grow on him. But that's pretty cool. We've also got the Dino Thunder Red Ranger. It looks like that same piece, the accessory from Evan, could plug into the back of this figure. He has the sound feature.
Let's go, Rangers!
He has articulation at the shoulders, at the elbows. I do like that they have their morphers on their arms there. He's got great hips, knee joints, and the swivel at the knee, as well as a holster there. So I pretty much have the whole team of Dino Thunder. Oh wait, we're missing the White Dino Thunder Ranger! This guy looks like a bad guy. And in the show, he's a bad guy some of the time and a good guy some of the time. I wonder what he's like in Aba Ranger, the Japanese version, because he just seems like he should be a villain. He has the look of the original Green Ranger a little bit with the armor, but just something about that mask just always looks evil. This figure has articulation at the shoulder that's hindered by his shoulder pads. He has elbow articulation, wrist articulation. He has a holster. He has hips. They're like a swivel, though, not really the good Power Ranger hips. Knee joints and a swivel above the knee. So he's decently articulated, but maybe not the best. I think this figure came in a special set when I was looking around online. This isn't like the standard release, so he's like simplified a little bit for either a gimmick or just like was a pack, and I can't remember the details on it. The last two figures we have to go over are also from Dino Thunder. They're bad guys. These are Triptoids. These are foot soldiers. They're not the main foot soldiers from Dino Thunder. They're basically the main foot soldiers from Aba Ranger, the Sentai series. And partway through, they just started using them a little bit. They introduced them to the show so they could use more of the Japanese footage. They're weird bad guys. They just sort of like walk around with these staffs that seem to way too flexible. They were released in a few other colors, but these are the colors they appear in the show. And I'm always looking for more of the Power Ranger foot soldiers, so glad to grab them. They are identical figures. They have articulation at the head, at the shoulders, at the elbows, wrist articulation, great Power Ranger hips, knee joints, and that swivel above the knee. So they're pretty much just as posable as the Ranger figures, and I'm pretty excited to get a hold of them. Thanks for watching this Action Figure Adventures video. Do Baby Skeletor a favor, hit that like and subscribe button.